Okay, welcome back to the channel, and we're going to do a test run with this setup right here and with our Bluetooth mics before our actual mic setups come in to see what we might need to change or adjust with lighting and soundproofing and whatever else. So this is going to be a little preview of things to come. And Julia's not with us tonight because of she's actually sick right now. So speaking of being sick, I guess we could talk about that. So as far as it goes for training while being sick, I actually was sick on Sunday with a stomach bug, and then it carried over to Monday, and I was up all night with loose bowels, just couldn't get sleep, stomach aches, nausea, everything else. So when I was younger, I actually would have pushed through something like that the next day of training, especially if I was training for a competition or a meet. Like I wouldn't have let that get in my way. I would have took the chance of going to the gym and working out and possibly having some whoopsie poopsies and stuff like that because the way that my stomach was, it was very unforgiving throughout the night. So there's a high probability an accident could have happened. So, like I said, I would have actually pushed through that whenever I was younger, and I would have actually just went, and whatever happened happened, and I wouldn't have cared. And even being sick, having fever, having nausea, body aches, whatever, flu, doesn't matter what the symptoms and how it was, I would still go to the gym and work out because I was that dedicated. But now that I'm older, I mean, to be honest, I truthfully, I just don't want to suffer that much. I don't want to hurt that bad. Like, it's like, is going to the gym and training while I'm sick and having this massive headache and nausea and fever and body aches really worth it? And at this point in life, to me personally, I don't think it is. Now, I think moving around when you're sick is good. I think it will help you get healthier or well better because you get your blood circulating, you get your blood flowing, your heart working. And I think in some cases it does make it better. But to be honest, I just don't have it in me at this age anymore to go to the gym and being sick like that. And you've actually been dealing with allergies these last couple of weeks. So I mean, I know that's pretty brutal to go when you're just congested so heavy and you can't breathe.
I mean, I deal with allergies pretty much year round. Like I'm allergic to them. Like not really allergic, but I have allergies of some sort to pretty much every type of grass and tree we have in our area. So it's a constant battle with that. Like one nostril is clogged up and the other one's not, and then I turn a certain way and that one frees up and the other one's now blocked up and things like that. So like dealing with that, being in the gym for something like that, actually with getting like the heart rate up and everything, it seems to help some when I'm in the gym. But then as soon as I'm out and I'm starting to calm back down, heart rate's coming back down and everything, I start to pay, I guess, more attention to it again and how it's like, oh yeah, that's right. I can't actually breathe kind of
Mhm.
thing. But as far as being sick, I think the biggest thing is as you get older, you kind of tend to learn a bit more how rest is the best, like one of the best medicines for it. And
Mhm.
like going and pushing yourself when you don't necessarily have to for something like working out or like even sometimes going to work if you're able to take the time away like from doing that possibly like it doesn't like it's not really benefiting you pushing yourself whatever over getting that rest and allowing your body to just fix itself a lot quicker because going in there and pushing yourself and you're getting the heart rate up and like oh yeah I made it through kind of thing but then now you've set yourself back like 2 more days or so of feeling like crap in general
Mhm.
because you pushed yourself to go in there and do your sets kind of thing.
Well, whenever I was younger too, like I get and since I lost weight too, like I don't know what happened, but actually I do know what happened. We don't have bulldogs no more. We used to have English bulldogs, and they'd always mess me up with the dandruff real bad. And my wife loves them, so we always had them. Well, not always, but off and on. And I think their dandruff I was allergic to
Mm.
because especially around spring and fall, I would get really, really, really bad allergies. I get congested and I couldn't breathe. And going to the gym with massive headaches and sinus pressure headaches, it was brutal, especially when you're straining heavy on squats or deadlifts and stuff like that. And you got that massive sinus headache, and then you're putting that load on top of that type of pressure. It
Mm.
feels like your head's going to pop, man. It feels like it's going to explode. And it was pretty tough getting in there. But like I said, I didn't find excuses. I got in there and did what I needed to do. And even running fever, I would still go in there. But like what you said, being older and just not being so like religious about it to the point where I like, oh well, I got to be that guy in the room that's always hardcore and always the one who's outperforming everybody else and the one who always shows up and sets the example and sets the this is how it's done type deal. I've done that many times and I've been there many times before, and I'm at that point now where I don't see any benefit to it. So staying home, getting some rest, staying hydrated, and drinking plenty of fluids, like I think that's more beneficial because I was sick Sunday, Monday, and now today's Tuesday, and I was able to get in the gym and work out. And speaking of our workout, it was arms and shoulders, which is our typical Tuesday workout, which is it's repetitive, man. Like the workout videos are repetitive, the training's repetitive, but it's the consistency over time, the boring stuff that gets you the most results. But going in there Monday to me wasn't beneficial because what I lost on Monday, I'm working up my chest and back again on Thursday. So there's no reason for me to stress. It's not like I'm only training my body 52 times a year. I train everything 104 times a year. So if I'm sick and I miss a workout, it's not so
Hmm.
detrimental that I have something I need to prove to the world, let alone myself. Like I can hack, I can hack it. I know I can. I just don't want to hurt that bad anymore. And speaking of tonight's workout, I actually had a really good workout from being sick yesterday, and I went from 229 on Sunday. I actually did a fat caliber body fat thing, and I was 229, and I came out to about 19% body fat, and I haven't checked what my body fat is. But the way I did it, I'm gonna not do it like that again because I crunched down and I squeezed a big chunk. Now, when I did that, I never postured back up. And if I postured back up, I would have lost a lot of that fat.
Hmm.
So next time I'm going to posture up and get a more accurate reading because I'm not going to be like, oh yes, this is how fat I am. I'm gonna keep it more realistic and not try to be over exaggerating how fat I am. But also, like I said, so I was 229. I kind of got sidetracked there. I was 229, and then on Monday morning,
Hmm.
uh, Monday morning, I woke up 222 because I was up all night using the restroom, and then almost all Monday, like I didn't eat all day, almost all day Sunday. I mean, I ate some, but I didn't eat as much as I normally ate, and then I didn't eat at all Monday because I was nauseous and I was going to the bathroom so much. I was like, I'm not going to put more fuel into this fire. Like I'm going to let it
Yeah.
smother itself out. So I was drinking plenty of fluid, trying to keep my hydration up because the number one thing that's going to get you hurt in the gym is being dehydrated because your tendons and muscles dry out, and then that's when things get creaky and they snap and pop. So staying hydrated was way more important to me. So I mean, I'll let the food go by and I'll try to keep the fluids in. Plus, it helps flush stuff out the body and everything else. And I mean, even without eating, and today was my first day of full eating back, but I had a great pump tonight and the workout went really well. We actually moved through it pretty quick, man. We were in there moving pretty quickly. At least it felt
Yeah.
like we moved through there pretty fast.
Yeah. Especially for arm night, because that is for both nights, for Tuesday and Friday when we do arms. That is our longest night.
Mhm.
But yeah, like we were in there, I think about an hour and a half, maybe a little over an hour and a half to get it up, like, get the arms done, which is a fairly quick night for us
Yeah, for arms
in
and
general.
shoulders,
Yeah.
because we do three different muscle groups, and you figure it's about 30-40 minutes
Mhm.
per muscle group. So 30 on biceps, 30 on triceps, 30 on shoulders. It's not too bad, but normally it runs about like 40 minutes, 45 minutes
Yeah.
per.
Every now and then we'll kind of get caught up in something else for a little bit, sort of thing. And we've had a couple of them where like 2 hours kind of gone by.
Mhm.
But yeah, like it was definitely a quick night. We kept things flowing, which is good. And like, overall, it was a good. Like I even enjoyed tonight's workout, which, like I said before, like arms isn't really like a big like favorite workout for me, just because I have a lot more issues with concentrating the area that I want to feel it in. I end up like having more shoulder fatigue or something else like. And yes, we work out the shoulders, but I mean like while doing like triceps or something like that, or like just grip in general. Like things fail a lot sooner than the actual arm itself. So it's just
Yeah.
not a big night for me. But tonight actually went pretty well. I was pleased with it.
Well, also you were mentioning how like the one arm cable press downs, you're not really that big of a fan on those, and how you don't really feel those some nights. Some nights they click, and other nights they
Hmm.
just don't feel that great. So you're thinking about switching that out to something else that you can kind of connect a little bit more to, huh?
Yeah, like, and you were talking about like doing the dumbbell kickback and things like that, and like we've done them before. It's something with the kickback in general. Like I'm not. It doesn't click well with me for a tricep exercise. Like but again, like the overhead extensions and stuff and the skull crushers, I I feel those amazing right now. But it's something with those. I don't know what it is. Like doing them bent over with the cables, standing up with the cables, and even doing like a traditional dumbbell. Like traditional dumbbell, I'll get that burn feel or whatever. But like I don't know. It's not a favorite for me. Also, I'd like to limit as much like being bent over and having to hold that position kind of stuff as I can because
Hmm.
I don't want to add any more like sheer like force on my lower back than I need to because I already carry around a heavy enough midsection pulling on it. So yeah, it's just those kind of things.
Well, and the thing about the bend over dumbbell kickback too is like doing the dumbbell kickbacks. When I was younger, I did a lot of those, but I always felt it in my front delts because you're bent over, so you're having to hold your elbow up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that load is on that front delt to hold it in the right position. I always felt it in my front deltoid. So I never really liked doing them, but I did them because it was an old school movement. There was merit to it and everything. And then when I found out about the cable, when I want to switch over to bent over cable kickbacks, I was like, oh, this is a game changer because I don't have to hold the weight of my arm up plus the dumbbell to kick it back. And then that just kind of led to like, it's just basically a modified version of like a rope press down. Like you're just in a neutral grip doing this, just bent over. So if I just stand
Yeah.
up, look at that. It's the same thing. So it's kind of like just how you look at it. It's your body positioning is the main thing that really changes because the function of the tricep is just to basically extend the hand away from the
Mm-hmm.
shoulder. Like the biceps function is to bring the hand to the shoulder, right? That's the whole function of the bicep is to bring the hand to the shoulder. The tricep is to push it away. That's it. So whether you're bent over or you're stood upright, this joint movement is single action. So it doesn't what more takes to play is the position of the wrist of how it hits the tricep, not so much the position of the body. Another, I would say actually try doing one arm overhead dumbbells. Like grab a dumbbell and go one arm overhead,
Mm-hmm.
or lay on your back when you lay down on the bench and take the dumbbell and go cross body like this and try those. So that might target a little bit different. You might feel a little bit more intense. Like I always enjoy doing the one arms with the dumbbells laying down or overhead. I've always enjoyed those
Mm-hmm.
too. But I think a lot of people overcomplicate the movements too, because like I like doing variety just because it's fun and you're working the same muscles every single time. So it's like how many different ways can you really train the body? And like the way I looked at it too is like whenever I was doing DC training, I love the concept of DC training because it was basically you you pick one exercise per body part for that night, and that's it. If it's bench press or dumbbell flies or dumbbell press or machine press, you pick one, and you annihilate that muscle group because, like I said earlier, the triceps function it's a one joint function of extension, and the bicep is contraction. So whether you're doing dumbbell curls, straight bar curls, easy curls, cable curls, hammer curls, preacher curls, machine preacher curls, like it's all the same basic function. You're just contracting the hand to the shoulder. So as long as you pick a exercise that you can overload the muscle on and really push it, then you're going to get results. So I like that concept, but it's a power building type routine. So the problem with that routine for me is that you constantly have to chase the logbook. So you're either going to increase your weights or your reps every single time you do that movement. And if you don't, then it's a sign of not progressing
Mm-hmm.
versus getting muscle soreness or muscle pumps or pushing the muscle with fatigue through different angles. And I say, oh, muscle confusion, do different angles for muscle confusions. I don't do different angles for muscle confusion. I do different angles because I enjoy doing different angles because they just feel different and I like having variety. Like I've heard people say like, oh, if you want to build the peak of the bicep, you got to rotate the wrist really hard. But here's the thing. If your bicep insertions on your tendon are like here and your bicep stops here and your tendon continues to here, you're going to have a balled up bicep with a high peak. If you have a long muscle belly and your bicep ties right into the tendon, you're going to have more of a elongated bicep.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the bicep bigger will get the ball at the peak to get up taller. But if the insertions are all the way here instead of being back here, there's no exercise in the world that you can do to change the shape of the muscle. There's just nothing. So when people are like, to develop that peak, you have to twist the wrists and da 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 da. I see these people doing these little bitty like cues, like you got to push right here, or when you squeeze, you have to get and then turn and then twist and then lock and then get, and then it's just kind of like it's not that serious. As long as you're getting a deep stretch from the muscle, and then a hard pull and a contraction and a squeeze at the top of the movement, and then a nice slow controlled negative, and then a nice good deep stretching. It doesn't matter how you right now, if you flow your elbow out or you tuck your elbow in, it will target a different part of the back. But as you're training, you're typically going to feel that, and you're going to feel it where it's hitting it, and you can make the adjustments on the fly. But as far as it goes for like overall like muscle development, muscle failure, so the concept of DC training, I like it because it's about just picking one movement and going ham on it. But then the problem is you have to constantly chase the logbook, and you can only get so strong at a movement before you can't get any stronger. And then you have to figure out other ways to make it more difficult versus doing variety and then just changing it up and then say, well, that's muscle confusion. And then there's so many different ways to approach it. And like to me personally, now I'm at a point where I like the variety because it's a lot more fun to hit different varieties. But to sit there and say like, this is how you have to twist your arm or shoulder to be able to build the muscle up a certain way, it's never going to happen. Like it doesn't matter what training style you do, your muscles are going to look the way your muscles are going to look because that's how you were born with your tendon insertions and your muscle development. Like you can do anabolics, you could do steroids, you could do any training program you want in this world, but it doesn't matter what you do. It will not change the way your muscles look. You can make them bigger, you can make them smaller, but you can't change the shape of them. That's why whenever guys have lats that look like they tied to their hips and other guys have lats that stop way up here, it's all muscle insertion. So when someone says in bodybuilding, oh, he's genetically gifted, they're not talking about because his muscles grew so big. They're talking about the insertions of the muscle bellies to the tendons and the joint placements. And that's what they mean by he's genetically gifted because his muscles flow perfectly. And there's just like, look at Marcus Rule, right? He was a mass monster, but he didn't have the most appealing physique. He never won. I mean, he was bigger than a lot of the guys out there, but he just didn't have the look because his muscle insertion. So when people say, oh, you have to twist it and do this little thing, it's not that serious. I mean, like I said, little cues like that can help a lot of people, but for the most part, I don't think those are going to be the difference between a champion and just someone who looks decent, But that's how I feel about it and everything. So like I said, when it comes to like getting bored of an exercise or not feeling it the way you want to feel it, I mean, there's no harm in changing it out for something. Because like I said, if you take the principles of DC training with single joint movement actions, where it's just like if it's a contracting or pressing muscle, it doesn't matter what you do for it. As long as it's engaging, it's going to work. And then there's other aspect of like variety and angles and, little bitty how to whatever. It's just what you enjoy doing the most is what's going to get you the furthest on there. And there's nothing you can do to change the way your muscle looks. You can only make it bigger or you can make it smaller. But how it looks is how it looks.
Yeah. And like if you're going to try and do different things, like I said, adding variety, like with the triceps for me, like my biggest thing, like I said, is having the option with our routine that we have right now is we have the option at any time if we're not liking something, switch it out for something you do like kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that's good to have for us because, again, if we're in here 2 times a week, every week, most of the year all together, like it can become like a monotone sort of like just kind of get through it kind of thing. But we also have the ability to, at any point in time, go, you know what, let's change it up, and it makes it interesting again, more fun, however you want to look at it, and you're back in there. It's a whole new workout, even though you're still doing the same muscle groups, but you're getting to change it up and have a bit more fun with it. And I like doing that and not having to really worry so much about exactly what my numbers are, where I'm at, just kind of trying to progress the numbers, yes, but not being so focused on, okay, like last week I did this, I now have to do this. If I don't do this, I'm a failure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking of being a failure, man, I can't tell you nowhere else powerlifting. If you don't hit your number for that night, especially if you're going not for a PR, but a percentage training. And you don't hit that, and you're like, I was supposed to do 4 reps with X amount of weight, and I barely even got 3. Like, what have I done wrong with my life? Like, what has led me here? Yeah, it's a horrible feeling, man. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, like I don't want to be in there like that or whatever. Like we're doing this because one, it's good for us. Two, like you have a goal of wanting to do the bodybuilding competition
Mhm.
as you're like, and you're moving towards it each day, kind of thing. And me, like I just have a more general goal of like I just want to better myself. I want to be better than what I have been and consistently get better. And that's what I'm doing right now. And as long as I can keep it fun and enjoyable, that's going to keep me going in there and making that progress. Like if I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, then it's not going to take any time for anybody if they're not enjoying what they're doing to go like, why am I doing this then?
Mm-hmm.
And then find something that they do enjoy doing and go start doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, with not having to focus so much on those certain aspects and just more of like make it worth your while you're in there. Like I feel that works for me and for you too at the moment.
So it's funny you say that because like about enjoying what you do. If not, you'll find something else to do that you enjoy. It reminds me of what George Lehman said. And George Lehman he broke the American deadlift record, I think, for 909. That's all he wanted to do is just break the deadlift record. And he has a video. He sits there and goes, he's like, you don't go out there and look like you're about to kill someone right before you lift like 800-900 pounds because you could be happy doing something else. Like you do this because you're a messed up individual and like it's because you have a goal or because you're passionate about it. Because like if you could be just as happy peeling potatoes instead of deadlifting 900 pounds, you'd be peeling potatoes instead of deadlifting 900 pounds. And that's like that's me, right? That's how I am. Like if there was anything else in this world that I could get the same amount of, don't get me wrong, excluding family and my kids and everything like that, but like generally speaking, like hobbies and like anything to do outside of work and family, like it doesn't matter what I do, like working on vehicles, fabricating, off roading, carpentry work, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like drinking, like whiskey and wines, and going to vineyards and different breweries and trying different beers, and it doesn't matter what all these other avenues and roads I went down in my life. Everything always circles back around to the gym. Like it doesn't matter how long I get out of the gym and what else hobbies I pick up. It always comes back to the gym for me because like those 2 years that I was down from my pec surgery, I was pretty depressed, and I submerged myself in a lot of other stuff, especially rock crawling. Like what we did at the Jeeps and everything. Now I still love rock crawling. We still go and we do all that. I have another YouTube channel, by the way. Shameless plug here at Urban Rock Crawling. But we had a lot of fun doing that type of stuff and everything. But as far as it goes for that though, like it still didn't fill that void inside of me that I wanted, which was basically being back in the gym and lifting weights. I've been doing this since I've been 14 years old, and it's just something I'm always going to do to the day I die. And it doesn't matter like what else comes up in my life. Like I will always find myself gravitating back towards the gym because it just makes me feel good. It may not make me feel good body wise, but I don't know what it is. Like I don't know if it's the soreness that I love or the pain or if it's just the fact of trying to become better or working on myself. I don't know what the psychological reason is for it, but all I know is just it makes me feel better and I like it.
It sounds to me like you have an issue with like needing to have more power. Like you like to be powerful. So to solve the Jeep thing, you just need more power in the Jeep too.
Yeah, I need that V8 swap is what I need to do. I need to
But yeah,
take that 6 cylinder out, put a V8 in there.
but yeah, it's a good thing to do. And like I said, is as long as I continue to enjoy it and having fun being in there, and it's not just like it's a fun thing, like taking it seriously while you're in there, but still having a good time in your own way. Like when we are in there, we're not exactly chatting it up and everything like that while we're doing it. We're more focused, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing because it's getting me to where I want to be in the end. Like it's getting me to my end goal, and I'm doing it in a way that I enjoy doing. To where, like I said, it's not so much about numbers and things like that. It's just like keep progressing, keep getting better however you can in whatever form or fashion that is. So for me right now, that's in getting myself smaller. So as long as I'm doing that and I'm making that progression, I feel good about what I'm doing, and I enjoy going back and doing it again the next day and the day after that and the day after that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the never ending story, and there's always something that you can improve on and get better at, and everything else. So it's never at a point where you're like, well, I've reached the end. I mean, look at Jay Cutler. He just turned 50, and he's still going. And he still looks amazing at 50 years old and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I mean, we all have our things that get us up in the morning, get us going, but it's the things that you
yeah, alarm clock.
yeah, yeah, if we could only wake up to whenever we wanted to wake up, that'd be really great. So. But I think that might be it for me on this one. Is there anything else you want to add to the video, or anything else you want to recap on? Or
No, I think I'm good.
okay, all right. Well, hey guys, we thank you for tuning in and checking us out. That's going to be it for this video. This is our new setup, and hopefully, this is how we start doing our videos from now on in the format. So this is going to be the first episode of our actual official podcast style video recording and stuff. So we hope you enjoyed it. We hope you're entertained. And if you were entertained and made it this far in the video, if you guys want to go ahead and leave a like, we'd appreciate it. If you guys want to go ahead and subscribe to the video, then we'd also appreciate that too. And let's be honest, if you made it this far in the video, you were probably entertained at least a little bit. And if you were, just go ahead and just click that button. But until next time, appreciate you watching.
Later.